is why I make my own supplies. Why do I do it? What is going on in my noggin? Why do I make my own supplies? And this has so many roots. It's going to get kind of repetitive. So if you heard my story before, let's just skim over it real quick. I started crafting back when I was a kid. I've always been crafting. I used to make my own birthday invitations out of construction paper and magazine clippings and stencils and stuff. The little kitty stencils you sometimes you can get, um, and glitter and things like that. And I always had a passion for crafting and art and yada yada yada. Yeah, fast forward. When I started art journaling back in like 2010, 2011, the end of 2010 around time, um, I only had like 5 or 6 paint colors and then 2 sets of brushes that my mom and my dad bought me. And that's what I did. And then eventually that Christmas, my dad gave me better quality paint from Winsor and Newton, their Galleria paint. And I got 2 of the same kits of these little like kitty kits and painting kits and sets and stuff. And I was away and trying to play and have fun and create with that and magazine clippings. And I bought scrapbook paper and just trying to make something out of nothing basically. And I used to watch all the videos back in the day, and I would see people make these beautiful artworks and with all these amazingly expensive supplies, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't make it physically. I was only 14, 15 at the time, and so I could not do it. And then I couldn't get that supplies. My mom couldn't buy it for me. She bought me a couple things, but she didn't know what to get me, so I would definitely basically have to buy my own, gifts and stuff. I hope that's loud. Sorry. And so for me, it just was a huge transition. I had to just make do with what I had and try to be creative with that. And I still was good with it, but I really felt kind of left out in some senses because I just didn't have inspiration to make crafty supplies with what I had on hand. No one was really making videos with a few things. They all had like watercolor sets and Neo 2 coloring crayons and like everything under the sun. It still didn't stop me from crafting, but I really wanted to help people out. When I got into crafting, there weren't a lot of videos on how to make your own sprays and how to make your own flowers and things like that, and they slowly trickled in more and more, and I just kind of felt like I just couldn't craft sometimes. I know a lot of people feel that way. You can't craft because you don't have that or have anything similar, and sometimes it's a little bit discouraging because you see this beautiful artwork done with these specific supplies, and if you don't have that, sometimes it is impossible to make it, and you don't have anybody kind of like challenging it and making their own thing and something like that like we do now. And so for me personally, I didn't do what I had and make my own stuff. So I made my own acrylic sprays because I couldn't buy sprays. I made my own stamps, like little foam stamps on paper and wood, things like little things I could do to make my transition into crafting a lot easier and help me to make things not feel left out. And so that's one of the reasons I kind of started off with. It's kind of a thing I've been doing for a long time, so I got here. But let's get into my background. So let's get into why I still make craft supplies. I have money now technically. I have a job now. I get paid weekly, and so I technically do have the funds to go buy the supplies I want or need. So why do I still make my own craft supplies? And the first one, the most obvious one, is going to be money. It does cost money to get tape and to get paint and to get scissors. And I'm sorry if you hear any noise coming up. So my family members are coming home now. It costs money, and that's one of the reasons why I do make my own supplies. A lot of times it is cheaper to make your own supplies than to go out and buy pre-made supplies. I feel like there's something on my my elbow, like some sticker on my elbow, but there's not. That's creeping me out. Like, it cost me a couple cents to the dollar to make my own sprays, but it would cost me $2 to go buy these, or $3 to buy these, or $4 to buy these. And if you're like me, it's a lot of money to spend on a little thing. And a lot of us have that what's it called, the want to have the entire collection pretty quickly. A lot of people do it, but that's kind of how I started off with. I wanted to still enjoy crafting, but sometimes I felt like I couldn't even start because the stuff was so expensive. You know, it would cost me $15. No, if it's like $4 a piece, and you get like a couple colors, it would cost me like $15-16 roughly to start off with sprays, to do little things. And that's not a bad investment, but at the time I only made like $20 a month, so it was a huge investment. Not even $20 a month, like $20 every 3 months. So spending $15 on 4 items was just really not feasible for me at the time. So that kind of leads into it. Pricing is the biggest thing. Some of these things are just very expensive, and it's really hard to start. Sometimes it's very confusing what to even get. And that's one of the reasons why I do make my things, because sometimes the things I feel are just overpriced, and just that you're not really paying for it being a spray. You're paying for it because it says, you know, Primo on it, which to me, I don't really care as long as it works. I'm not saying that Primo does this. That's a brand that came in my head. That to me is just the basics. So first thing is it's expensive. That's really it. And I've found like 95% of the time it's cheaper just to make your own stuff than to go out and buy it normally. Now I'm gonna preference that. You can't say that all the time. Alright, sorry guys, I had to go get something real quick. Back to your topic. So sometimes it goes to pricing. As I said before, that's the biggest thing. It's too expensive. You don't have the kind of you don't have that money to spend on that thing. And so that's some of the reasons why I did that. And for me personally, when I first started there weren't as many options. I think a lot of people can say if you started back in like 2010 and 2011, when art journaling was just kind of getting really popular, I don't feel there wasn't that many options. And if there was, I really didn't know that many options back then for like art journaling supplies. Most people I knew used just like art supplies, like for paintings and stuff, and a couple craft supplies. But there definitely was not as many like matte medium brands and texture paste brands in the craft community that there are now. Definitely wasn't. So pricing. The second reason why I make my own stuff is because they're so simple to make. Some of these things take literally no time to make, and to me, I'm not gonna waste that much money on the thing, and it cost me pennies to a nickel. My favorite saying now. Like this thing, this only took printer ink, which cost like $10 for 4 bottles of printer ink, and then you need the bottles. I get mine off of AliExpress. They cost around 15 to 20 cents a piece. I normally get about 5 bottles for $2. You can do the math for that one if you want to, but sometimes they're even cheaper than that. And these are 100 milliliters, or a little bit over 3 ounces for $2. You can get the ones at Walmart. I have to drink some water. Hold on. Sorry. These are the ones from Walmart. I used to buy these. These are 97 cents. This is the one off of eBay, and this is 100 milliliters, about almost 3.5 ounces. You see the big difference. There's a huge difference. This holds way more stuff, but all these things are very simple to make, very easy. And once you learn how to make them, it just makes it really ridiculous to me personally to go and buy them in some senses. I know not everybody wants to go out and make supplies. I know that for a fact. I understand. I'm not going to tell anybody, oh, you're this and that because you didn't make it. That's just not me. But I personally find enjoyment out of it. So if I find a recipe that I like personally, I feel like I have no need to go out and buy this because I can just make it myself. I only have one store bought, if I can even find it, spray ink, and I got it because it was on sale. I really liked the color because it was copper, and copper is one of my favorite colors. But I mean, I've made so many versions. I've made mica based inks, you know, shimmer inks. I have the Dollar Tree Easter egg inks. I mean, I have so many different inks that you can make and use that I kind of have been pretty fine with what I have. And personally, I feel like I don't really need any more. You can just hear them right now. That's too much. So that's kind of like one of the things I do and really helps me. So that's personally it. This so the sprays, and then you have my ink blending tools. This was like really simple to make too. Have video on that, and you know, I wouldn't go out and buy these. I want to make them a little bit different, so I might alter them, but I still like them anyways. They're really easy to hold and blend. Certain tools I see, they just look super easy to make or get a version of it, and I personally just don't really see a need to buy them personally if I'm very satisfied with what I have personally, or if I'm a recipe that did do what I wanted to do. Like it's not anywhere close to me, but I have a patina paste recipe I found online, and it works amazingly. I love it. I have these big humongous jars compared to the ones you can get at Michael's and stuff. I think they just went to a bigger size. Personal preference. So that, just so I'm on just so certain things I do buy. I do have certain brands I'll go buy from, but certain things I feel like I'm very content with my recipe, and so I feel like no need to go out and get them. So that is the first thing. Hold on. So alright, so I'm back. Sorry. Keep interruptions. Just a lot of things keep happening, so I'm sorry about that. But so that's the kind of thing for me personally. That's another thing. So just very expensive. I found recipes that I personally like, and to me, I find a way that's really simple and easy to make them, so I didn't feel a need to go and buy them. The next reason that I personally make my own is more control. If you're the kind of person who wants to know what's in the things you are using, you can do this way. Another thing is, if you want a specific color or texture, like certain things that you want that you're not finding on the market, it's very easy just to find a way to make it yourself, and you can control it personally. You might not get it correct on the first try, but I've seen some people review recipes and show you the difference, and you can kind of tweak it and get a better consistency that you want. Like personally, I have a gesso. Where is it? I don't have it on my desk, do I? No. I have a gesso that I bought because it was $7, but I hate it. I really don't like it with a huge passion because it's too gritty. It's the Liquitex Basic collection, and I didn't like it. A lot of people complain that it's really gritty, but I mean, that's a big problem. People complain that it was really thick. I didn't care it was thick. It's just really gritty. It's just so gritty, and so personally, I didn't like it, and I paid $7 for it, so I really don't use it that often. So I ended up finding a recipe and making a recipe, which I did not even halfway catalog the recipe, so I don't know how I'm gonna make it again. But I got this humongous, this is a 32-ounce jar. That's my recipe in here, and this jar is been through a lot. You can see it is disgusting, but this is a wide mouth jar, and this is the one I use just to make my gesso. And this took what, Liquitex, no, this is a latex paint, glue, what else is in here, plaster of Paris. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. And I like the recipe. I'm going to use a different one. The reason I use Liquitex paint, I keep saying Liquitex, latex paint, is because I need white paint to make it white, and I wanted more paint for my money. but I ended up using the wrong type of latex paint. I use a latex primer, which is not, you don't use that because it tries to dry up a lot. So no, but first, and water, I think water, yeah. So that is my favorite recipe. I do like it. It's the recipe I have and the paint that I use make it a very, very almost clear kind of gesso, but it's not. But I still really do like it, and I will definitely be remaking it with my new latex. Yeah, latex. Latex? Yeah. I think I'm saying it right. I'm confusing myself now. Paint. So, and that's basic. So I showed you everything that. So that's another thing. You get more creative control of what you're getting. And then the next thing for that is quantity. Now, quality versus quantity is a big, humongous debate. I'm the kind of person who just goes back and forth on things. Some things I'm willing to pay a little bit more for depending on what they are. But sometimes I'm content with what I have. I will definitely tell you there's a huge difference between getting those little cheapy kid art craft kits from like Michael's and stuff, and then getting them separately. But I think the biggest thing I would tell you is buy what you really are inspired to buy and stuff, and what you really want to try out. Who cares? Who cares, right? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Quantity, that's the next part of the segment. It's gonna be quantity. And for me personally, I'm the kind of person who goes back and forth between quality and quantity, but I do like both. But it's like hard to have a good balance between that. I want good quality paint and good quality products, but I don't want this tiny little, you know, this tiny little jar of gesso and this tiny little jar of like pigment paste and like all the kinds of things. So for me, it's trying to find a good balance between that. And when you make your own recipes, you can control the quantity and the quality of what you're making. So you can put super high quality mica powders in it, your DIY wax paste, and you make this amazing quality product. Or you can use whatever you want, like off of eBay, and mix and match and get a good in between quality, whatever you want to do. It's really up to you. And that big that way of determining the quality of your paste and the quantity you want really is exciting. I went to Michael's a couple days ago. I saw the size, like the little tiny Finnabar, yeah, the their wax paste, that the one I kind of copied, got inspired by, and the containers were so tiny, and I was like, oh my gosh, Simone, you made that for not even the same price point, especially since I could refill mines. But just that, I got this humongous jar of stuff compared to having this tiny little jar. But it's up to you. I said I like quantity. I do like quantity a lot. That's maybe why I always lean towards AliExpress and stuff, because I get quantity. And sometimes quality and quantity don't really apply to certain things, like trims and stuff. Quality and quantity, I haven't really seen a bad trim. I haven't seen a super amazing quality trim. I've seen very intricate, detailed trim that's a little bit different, but certain things are just kind of basic and everybody can just make it for around the same price, whatever. So it's a big thing. And for me, that creative control I really like being able to pick the colors I want for a specific thing. As I said before, you're starting off base. Sometimes certain products are really hard to know what to start off with, like sprays. What sprays do you start off with? Who knows? When I first started, I had a black, a white, like a green, a blue, and a red, I think. And I add other colors to that. But not everybody wants those colors. You kind of have to see what you would use, and it's going to be expensive, but you're going to have to play around with it. It's going to happen regardless. And for some people, that is a really high risk to take for supplies you're not 100% sure if you're going to use. And for me, this is a way that I kind of get on that. For the wax paste, I wanted to know if I was going to use those. So paying $5 for me was a lot of money per container. So I wanted to see if I was going to use them, and so I made them myself. Yeah, technically it cost me more money to make them myself, but that was for me personally, and I wanted to show you guys because I thought some people would be interested in learning how to make them and seeing how simple it was. Pretty easy and simple. So all that being said, I like mixing up different recipes, getting different colors. To me, that's exciting. And for some people, it's not. I know that. But it's up to you. Your personal preference. I make my own craft supplies because I personally feel like the market has so many brands that just give out these little tiny containers sometimes and don't give us a lot of things. Or the price just jacked up because of the name on it. And personally, I don't really like that. I don't really care for that. I'm not buying it because Studio Calco came out with it. I'm buying it because I like it, and so I don't want that to be the driving price point in it. And not every company does that, but I don't know. That's just how I feel sometimes. So for me, making my own supplies is an easy way to get what I want and have more control of the colors I'm getting in and using and playing with it and just spend my money kind of wisely. Yes, you will spend a lot of money when you go and initially start making your own supplies. It's not going to be the cheapest thing with some of these things because it does take time to build up supplies to make your own supplies, like mica paste and certain things like hope I don't knock my camera over. It's gonna shake. Oh, I might. Who knows? It didn't. Yay! Gum Arabic. Like this took time. Took time. I can't speak now. It took time to do all this, and it's little baby steps. You know, I started off with twinkling H2Os, and transferred over to these pigment inks, and then I transferred over to wax paste and just like tools, some little things that you can start tinkering at to get more into making your own supplies. I personally do love making my own supplies. It's fun, but I do have a balance between my own supplies and the ones that I buy personally. And I will tell you, you can make a lot of things if you put your mind to it and you try and you apply yourself and things like that. And I do see things, sometimes I see things, I'm like, you know what, I use this and this and this and make that, you know. I get pretty inspired by seeing things, and I know for some people it's a need, a necessity. Some things are easy to get, find alternatives online for, but some are not. And if you really want that product and you're in an environment where you cannot personally get it, or you're in a situation financially where you cannot afford it, going and buying these bottles for what, $2 for 5 bottles, and then going out and purchasing printer ink, or you might have someone home, or if you're, you know, you celebrate Easter and you have those Easter die kits in your store, going and purchasing those for like $1 to $2, and then you have, you know, ink sprays. And to be honest, those Easter egg sprays that I made, those cost me $4 to make. $1 for the bottle, like for 3 different bottles. It's like $3. It's 3 different bottles for $1, and then $3 for the kits, because you need 3 kits because they're not that pigmented. And to be honest, those are one of my favorites. I can't even find where it is. I have all my sprays next to me. I'm trying to find one of them. That is one of my favorite sprays. I don't know. Did I grab it? Yeah, here's it. I use my yellow like crazy because it's so shimmery. It's so pretty. Actually, it'll be $5 because I use the hairspray to make the shimmer in there stay in the paper and not just like wipe off within like 2 seconds. It just takes time, and if you were wanting me to do a video on like my basic supplies that I use and kind of intro to making your own supplies, I will. But I make this for me because I want to make it, and 2, I know people would love to see how to make your own stuff and to just be crafty and not have to spend so much money. Some people might think it's crazy I spent $30-$40 on all the supplies to make my wax paste, but it cost me $30-$40, which technically could have got me, I think they're $5 each, so 6 wax paste. Or I just made almost 10 on that same price. So it's just up to you. You're kind of like what you want to do with it. I like what I'm doing. I do find this really fun, and I like to help people who can't, who are in the same position I was in, or similar positions. And so, from making my own supplies to eBay, AliExpress, and finding alternatives, I personally don't really have too many wants besides like $100 to spend on AliExpress, and then I think $100 a month just to spend on AliExpress alone, and that's it. But I will definitely tell you this: my end message, basically the end of my message is do what you want to do. If you like buying the supplies for full or like half retail value price, you can. You can tell me small. You can use a coupon. Yeah, you can on certain things, but some of these things come online first before they come in store. And Michaels and Joann's and Hobby Lobby only carry a small amount, and sometimes they don't have coupons. Two, if you're like I said before, you're in a different country, this might be harder to get and pretty expensive to find. And everybody and their grandma's gonna be wanting the same thing, so the battle to get it. So for me, it's not really worth it. For making your own flowers, making your own sprays, paste, inks, whatever, I just want to show you guys that you can have fun on a budget and make beautiful things and have kind of control of your crafting in that sense. I hope I inspire you guys to do it and you like what I'm doing and that you take inspiration and it helps you guys out. I think it's kind of fun to make your own supplies and just to see the finished product. And I don't know, that's just me. I'm always the person who likes to make their own stuff. But I think that's everything I want to talk about. Just the kind of 3 reasons why I make things. I hope you guys enjoy the videos I make for you. I think this month's going to be a lot of tools personally, but that's everything. And my last thing I'll tell you is I do know the reason. I know where to stop. I don't make everything because some things I think are just not worth it financially and just doing it personally to make yourself. So you kind of have to find your limit. But with that being said, I am done. I blabbered on long enough with all the interruptions I had to show you guys and talk to you guys about why I make my own supplies. I hope it was helpful. And I will make videos later on kind of talking about my favorite stuff and things. And I hope you guys enjoy. I think I have this video come up after my little crafty week of hauls. I'm going to do 7 days of hauls. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And this should be coming after it or midway. I don't know. I'm going to do much love and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Get crafty.